What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. On today's episode, I'm going to talk about how the Chicago Bulls can set the tone going into this upcoming season. And then I'm going to go ahead and touch on the voicemail bag left by two of our supporters. But you already know we're going to get right into it. But you got to hit a music first.
Cognac. Gang.
Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on another episode of Shy Boys Podcast with me and my co-host C-Dub. If you like what you're listening to today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so every time we drop, you be one of the first ones to know. Now, how can your and our Chicago Bulls come out and set the tone early going into this upcoming season? We know that they have games against the Milwaukee Bucks. They got 3 games against the Milwaukee Bucks, 4 games against the Miami Heat, 2 games against Orlando, 2 games against the Brooklyn Nets, and 2 games against Toronto in the first 25 games, 13 home games, 12 road games. I say the way that the Chicago Bulls will be able to set the tone within those first 25 games is simply having a sense of urgency. You can't come into this season playing lackadaisical basketball. You cannot come into this season not being prepared to go to battle every single night to change the narrative of what has been placed on the Chicago Bulls. Now, we've seen from Bleacher Report and other various sources around placing the Chicago Bulls towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference, and rightfully so, especially after 2 years of seeing the Big Three, pretty much the same team, do nothing. 1 playoff appearance, 1 playoff win with this Big Three intact. So I think that the Chicago Bulls need to come out with a sense of urgency and make a stance early and try to have some sustainability moving on after that. They got to go out here and be solid defensively and be more creative offensively. Get more in tune with the modern day NBA when it comes to 3-point attempts and 3-point shooting. I'm not saying that these guys have to go out and lead the league in 3-point attempts, anything like that, but they have to up their attempts to be in competition with at least the league average of the other 3-point shooting teams around the league. And the way that the Chicago Bulls, in my opinion, can go ahead and establish this sense of urgency, first and foremost, during training camp, and right now is one of the most crucial moments and times for the Chicago Bulls. They have to come out here and first establish an identity. What are you going to hang your hat on when things get tough? If you ask me, I believe the Chicago Bulls should continue to hang their hats on the defensive end. When things are not going well, when things are getting tough, the Chicago Bulls should be able to pin their ears back, kind of using a football term here, but I know most of you guys and gals understand where I'm coming from when I'm discussing this type of thing. But they have to be able to grab their hard hat and lunch pail and be able to go to work and be able to stop other teams. And then I believe that flows on over to what they could potentially be offensively. Because if they use the defense correctly, those defensive stops will be able to allow the Chicago Bulls to get easy buckets out in transition, to be able to get out on a run, something we haven't really seen a team do, with some of the older guys on this team. But hopefully they get to that in some type of aspect, whether that's with the first unit or the second unit, or a combination of the first and second unit when you kind of mix and matching players, just so you can see what you can do against the opposing teams. So offensively, the Chicago Bulls need to be more in tune with the modern NBA. Be more in tune. You have to be able to go out here and change your shooting profile as AK and Mark Eversley laid out for us. They have to do that. They went out and got a player development coach whose specialty is in three-point shooting or shooting just in totality. So they have to use that to their advantage. They have to get better in that regard because added three-point shooting game or team will be able to open up opportunities for other guys who are some hard slashers to the basket, like an Alex Caruso, or you can see Kobe White get up in there from here and there, or you can see some backdoor cuts and some slams from Patrick Williams. And you know what Ayo Dosunmu can do on the run and in transition, and with some type of cutting, if it's designed within the offense, we know what these guys can do. And in the defensive side, these guys have to lock down. I'm not saying that they have to be top 5 again, but they do have to be in that first half of the NBA. Top 15. There's 30 teams in the NBA. I believe the Bulls should be at least 15th. But with all the guys that they have on their team, they should definitely be able to be a top 10 defense. And I think that needs to feed into their offense. I think an identity is what the team lacked. It's hence why we seen so many roller coasters with this team. But when you inserted a guy like Patrick Beverley, who is kind of like that middle linebacker in the middle of a field when you're playing like a Tampa 2 defense, you seen a change within the team. The results were the results. It wasn't the best results, but they were the results. But we cannot argue that Patrick Beverley did bring more life into the Chicago Bulls with his mentality, with his defensive edge and leadership. So that's the kind of thing that we're looking for. And I think that you set the tone simply by allowing Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic to lead the charge. Do you want them to lead the charge? But you also have to have the dependability of the others, and excuse me, including whoever your starting point guard is going to be, which I believe is going to be Javon Carter. They have to be able to orchestrate everything. You know what I'm saying? He has to be the guy that's orchestrating just about everything. We know where he comes from. We know what he's about. And we hope that he can be some type of guy that can go ahead and provide some life into the Chicago Bulls team who has been missing Lonzo Ball for years, man. For years, and they're going to miss him for another year. But I also want these guys to not linger on the thought of Lonzo Ball. I'm happy that they came out with the information early and said that he's not going to be here. So now they don't have to sit there and worry if he's going to come back anytime soon. Because like Nikola Vucevic said, that was something that was on their mind last season. Now that they know that he's not going to be in, they could just play basketball. And that's what it should be. So down below, let me know, how can the Chicago Bulls set the tone in your opinion? Make sure you comment below. Let me know how y'all feeling about it. Now, before we go, I want to get into the voicemail bag. Show some love to our supporters here on Shy Bulls Central. Shy Bulls Central. That ain't my channel. That's Hayes. On Shy Bulls Podcast. My bad, ladies and gentlemen. On Shy Bulls Podcast. Gotta show the love. This first voicemail right here is from Norm.
Yo, what's up, fellas? Norm from Matson, and you're back. Man, it's been a nice little minute, busy. Y'all know how it goes. Anyway, man, I'm hearing more and more about this Dame Lillard Chicago trade rumors. I saw y'all podcast the other day. I think y'all kind of touched on it, but man, I'm hearing more and more about it. I mean, I don't know how much truth there is to it, but man, I think people forget that Dame is a superstar. He's not even an all-star. He's a superstar. I know he's a little bit up there in age, but I think last year he had his best stats. Points per game, assists, all that. So, man, who is untouchable on the Bulls to be traded to be a part of the Dame Lillard escapade? I don't know. I think, man, listen, man. I'm sorry, somebody's talking to me. I'm done. Y'all jump on the phone, man. But, man, I say, man, listen, man, I'm a Zach LaVine fan. I know it's 50-50 in the city. I know you think DeMar's the man, you think Zach is the man, but I like them both. But I'm saying like this, man. DeMar got 1 year left. So if we could do a package, DeMar, some picks that I don't think we got, but if we do, they're gonna want some Kobe White. I know they got like a whole lot of guys over there, but Kobe, I think he's gonna be putting in work. You know what I'm saying? So Kobe, DeMar, one of our younger guys, man. They may want Caruso. I think they may want Caruso. So I mean, what y'all do it for DeMar, Caruso, and Kobe? I do it. I'm just saying. I hang up and listen to y'all boys. Have a good one.
All right. So thank you, Norm, for calling in. You got a valid point, man. Damian Lillard is definitely a superstar. He's definitely a superstar. And if you can get him for the right price, for the right pieces and assets that you'll have to give up, you have to explore that option. You ask me, who do I think is untouchable in this sense when it comes to the Chicago Bulls? My answer would be simple. It's Zach LaVine. I don't want to see a team with Damian Lillard here with DeMar DeRozan. To me, it's just going to mimic what the Portland Trailblazers were not too long ago when it was just Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. You need a more dynamic scorer along Damian Lillard. And I think that more dynamic scorer could be Zach LaVine. He might not be. And the greatest thing about it is that Zach LaVine defers to DeMar DeRozan to close games. So it wouldn't be a problem for Zach LaVine to defer during games to defer to Damian Lillard. So and this guy is even more of a threat than a DeMar DeRozan. Now you ask me, would I do DeMar, Caruso, and Kobe? Yeah. I think when you add in Caruso, it becomes a bit too much for me. But on the bright side, you still keep Patrick Williams and his youth around the team. And now you eliminate DeMar DeRozan, who I have been on record of saying he's holding Patrick Williams back. Now Patrick Williams gets an opportunity to showcase if he really could do this without any roadblocks. So I think that's what would really, really make it great. I think it's definitely something you will have to explore right now. Just to close in short, the only untouchable Bull right now would be Zach LaVine. But we got to let these people do what they got to do, man. Thanks for calling in, Norm. I hope that was a great answer to your question and your take. I love the take. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate you, my guy. Now we move on to the last voicemail of the day. This guy comes in. He's a frequent caller. He's definitely one of our family members over here on Shy Bulls Podcast. This voicemail is from my guy, Big O.
You know, it's Big O again, man. Y'all know I have to call it back, man. I'm gonna talk about it on my show as well, man, over at Chicago Bulls Block. Now I'm gonna get into this tonight, as a matter of fact. But I had to call back because the second point I wanted to make is that because I talked about this on one of my episodes over on my podcast, is that if the Bulls want to get in the Giannis sweepstakes, if the Bulls want to get in the sweepstakes of the next superstar that may become disgruntled and available, they have to be bold now. The Bulls have to get ahead and make a move before the next move, if that makes sense. It's like chess. You make a move before you make the biggest move. You get Dame now to then pursue your next superstar in the next year or two in 2025. You get what I'm saying? So it might cost you LaVine. It might cost you DeMar. It might cost you Vooch. But you're not worried about that right now. What you're worried about is what you got lined up ahead. You know what I mean? We all know the Bulls not winning a championship this year. We don't even know if they're gonna make the playoffs. So what I talked about was that if the Bulls want to be a serious consideration for Giannis, they have to show Giannis that they want to win. Ownership has to show that they want to pay luxury tax, not just say it in an interview or in a meeting. You know what I mean? That we're going to spend. No, put it on wax. put that shit on wax. So he can be able to look back and say, oh, they went and got Dame in 2023. They made this move in 2024. You know what I mean? Okay. They look like they wanted, they're about something. He can believe it. Or else, if he leaves Milwaukee, his ass gonna end up on the Lakers. You know that's where he's going. If nobody else show their ass up to the front door with show and prove that they're gonna do right by the kids. And that's kind of like where I'm at with it. So I wouldn't be mad if they traded for Dame, and I wouldn't care who the hell they gave up if they got it, as long as I see the plan and see them being bold as part of the plan. You know what I mean? Going forward, making the right moves to set up your next move to make this team valid and a championship contender. So that's all I got for you guys. You guys keep doing y'all thing, and I'll be tuning in. I'll catch y'all next time.
All right, so that's our voicemail from Big O. Man, a lot of impact jump into, but everything taken from that voicemail, just let me know that you keeping it a buck. Beat the Chicago Bulls. They really have to be bold if you want to set yourself up for free agents to come to Chicago, and the situation has to make sense. And you hit on Giannis Antetokounmpo. If the Chicago Bulls want Giannis, or to even be in the run for Giannis down the line, they have to set up a team that's going to be, in Giannis's eyes, better than what the Milwaukee Bucks has presented him. Now, if you come to the table, let's just say the Bulls go out and be bold and make changes and get Damian Lillard. And then in the following, you go 2023, 2024, and then, you waited to 2025. I know it's a time, and me personally, I don't want to wait that long to see if Giannis can come over here. But for the sake of discussion, we're going to talk about it. So if you go to Giannis and say, hey, we got the Chicago Bulls organization. We got Damian Lillard. He's a bit older now, but he's still a dynamic player. We got Zach LaVine, and you can be the finishing piece to our run to the championship. The last 2 years, we had some playoff success. We wasn't able to get it done. You're the last piece to where we feel like we can make this final push to giving the Chicago land and the Chicago Bulls another championship. That's appealing to Giannis. But if you go to Giannis and it's just Zach LaVine, Javon Carter, Ayo Dosunmu, Kobe White, Alex Caruso still laying around. Maybe Patrick Williams turns into something. No DeMar DeRozan, still Nikola Vucevic, or he might be retired at that time. It's not that appealing. So, Big O, you right on the money. It's not that you have to be bold and strong enough and strategize in the correct way to where you can set yourself up for the future. Not only just the now, but the future. And you mentioned it. It's like chess. You know what you're supposed to be doing right now, but the way that you get to a checkmate is to strategize for your next move and to think ahead of your opponent. So that's what the Chicago Bulls need to do. That's what the Chicago Bulls should do. But we know our organization. We hope that they do well. We know that the front office has a solid track record. Some will argue that, and that's rightfully so. I believe the track record is solid, though the moves these past few years have not been popping off the screen. The quick turnaround to go from shit to at least a playoff contender, they put in a lot of work behind that. And it was really out of character for that front office to do so. So they did take a step back, but I still think that these two guys, Arturis and Mark Eversley, they are smart guys and they know what to do. But at the end of the day, thanks, Big O, for calling in. I hope that was a solid answer to your voicemail. And I'm definitely going to be checking your podcast out, man. Chicago Bulls Block. I'm going to definitely check that out and let you know what I think. And then we definitely going to have to work on a collab in the future, my guy. I appreciate you. Definitely love what you bring to the Bulls fandom thing. And I'm eager to know if you into the Bears. I know it's a dumpster fire right now with our Chicago Bears, but I'm anxious to know just in case we need to chop it up on that topic as well. But that's it, man. That's it for today's episode. If you like what you heard today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to call in and leave your take and have your stuff reacted to by me and C-Dub or one of us, go ahead and call in 773-242-9219. It's another episode of Shy Boys Podcast. I'm Bobby. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac. Gang.